It began on the colony of New Carthage, a fertile crescent world orbiting a sun not unlike Earth's. The colony was young, barely 2 generations of settlers, but thriving. Its cities spread along rivers, its orbital docks filled with trade barges. It was a symbol of humanity's expansion into the wider galaxy, bold, hopeful, unafraid. That was why the Zaranth Dominion chose it, not for its wealth, not for its strategic position, but for the insult. The Zaranth had long called humanity an upstart species of soil walkers, clever perhaps, but lacking the spine of empires forged in centuries of war. The Dominion sought to make an example, a display for the galaxy. So the fleet came. Dark spears of metal cut through New Carthage's orbit. Before the colonists could even finish their distress call, the bombardment began. Cities became seas of flame, atmosphere shivered under nuclear detonations, and the green world was scoured into ash. Those who fled into orbit, families in civilian shuttles, were herded into kill zones, vaporized for sport. The Zaranth commander broadcast his laughter. "Let this be known," he sneered. "Humanity's children are but insects beneath the boot of empires." The mockery, a galaxy certain of Earth's weakness. The Dominion celebrated. Across their homeworlds, victory parades filled the air with banners. Court historians proclaimed the extinction of New Carthage as a necessary discipline for primitive ambition. Other alien powers, watching from afar, smirked in private. Humanity, they whispered, had reached too far. They were clever traders, yes, prolific engineers perhaps, but they were not warriors. On the galactic forums, ambassadors jested that Earth would send envoys with parchment pleas, perhaps with treaties written in trembling ink. "They value words more than blood," one counselor mocked, drawing roars of laughter. Diplomatic pouches flooded Earth, each carrying condolences laced with condescension. Allies offered mediation, neutrals offered advice, and rivals offered silence, waiting to see if humanity would bow or break. The Dominion's arrogance was absolute. Their mistake was final. The silence before the storm. For weeks, Earth was quiet. The capital at Geneva issued no grand statements, no condemnation, no cries for negotiation. The galaxy interpreted this silence as fear. "The Terrans will mourn, not fight," said one alien scholar on the newsnets. "They will retreat inward. They are too civilized for vengeance." But in the silence, Earth's halls of power were not idle. In hidden shipyards under Saturn's rings, dreadnoughts that had never seen starlight stirred. In Martian caverns, engines older than the colonies themselves were reignited. Across the outer colonies, silent codes were transmitted, orders given without words. Prepare. Earth did not broadcast grief, it sharpened it. The first rumbling of retribution. The galaxy's first hint came not from Earth, but from whispers. Dominion patrols went missing. Outposts reported shadows of colossal mass signatures before falling silent. At first, the Dominion dismissed them as pirates or system storms. Then came the broadcast. One transmission, encoded in every known galactic tongue, carried across the networks like a bell tolling doom. "This is Earth. You struck our children. You celebrated their ashes. Know this. Diplomacy is not our answer. Retribution is." The signal was followed by coordinates, those of New Carthage, its orbit now empty. Within hours, human fleets arrived not to mourn but to stand watch. 1,000 warships formed an iron shroud around the grave. Their hulls bore no insignias, no colors, only the black steel of judgment. The message was clear. Humanity had drawn a line of fire, and it began with the ruins of their dead. The storm unleashed. The first strike fell on the Dominion stronghold of Vareni's Prime. Their orbital defenses, once the pride of the empire, burned within minutes. Human dreadnoughts, colossal constructs bristling with rail cannons and plasma arrays, descended through their skis. Dominion fleets scrambled, but they were torn apart as if their ships were made of glass. The humans fought without hesitation, without plea, without pause. There were no demands, no ultimatums, only annihilation. Other worlds followed. Industrial foundries shattered under kinetic bombardments. Shipyards cracked open, spilling molten fire into orbit. Planetary garrisons, once arrogant, found themselves buried under waves of human infantry, armored soldiers whose precision and discipline made mockery of resistance. To the galaxy's eyes, it was biblical. Fleets that blotted out suns, storms of fire that rained upon planets. The very void seemed to roar with Earth's wrath. The Dominions collapse. The Zaranth Council screamed for aid from their allies. None came. Fear spread too quickly. To stand against Earth was to invite obliteration. The galaxy had seen the fleets blot out skis. They had heard the silence of Dominion screams cut short by railshot thunder. World after world fell. Some resisted fiercely, others surrendered in terror. It made no difference. Humanity did not come for territory. Humanity came for vengeance. Entire star systems were purged. Colonies once filled with laughter were reduced to rubble. The Dominion's proud history, carved over centuries, was reduced to smoke in the span of months. And through it all, Earth spoke rarely. When it did, its words carried the chill of a death knell. You sought to erase our children. Now your name will be erased. The climax, retribution without mercy. The final act was delivered on the Dominion homeworld itself. The Zaranth rulers, panicked and desperate, attempted diplomacy at last. Pleas filled the calm channels, promises of reparations, of peace, of shared rule. But humanity did not answer with words. The sky above the Dominion homeworld darkened as the Terran Grand Armada arrived, thousands of ships in disciplined formation, an eclipse of steel. The population looked up and saw the night deepen, their suns swallowed by war. The bombardment began with precision strikes, dismantling defense grids in minutes. Then came the full fury, orbital strikes that shattered continents, oceans boiled, skis turned to ash. Entire cities vanished in light brighter than dawn. On the surface, Zaranth leaders gathered in their palaces, still clinging to pride. They thought Earth would demand surrender. They thought wrong. Humanity had no interest in surrender, only retribution. When the dust settled, nothing remained but molten continents and a silence that stretched across the void. Aftermath, the whisper that endures. The war was not long. Retribution rarely is. Within a year, the Zaranth Dominion ceased to exist, not weakened, not fractured, erased. The galaxy trembled. Empires that had mocked Earth's civility now revised their archives. Diplomatic councils spoke in hushed tones. Treaties were rewritten overnight, every clause bent toward avoiding Terran ire. Survivors from the Dominion's fringes, drifting as refugees, spoke of a terror they could not escape. They whispered of Earth's fleets arriving like storms, soldiers descending like angels of death, planets burning like kindling. And one phrase spread from lips to lips, from station to station, until it became scripture. Never provoke Earth again. They came without warning. The sky above New Thessaly, a thriving human colony, tore open as alien warships descended. Gleaming, angular vessels of the Korth Dominion filled the stratosphere, their weapons cutting through orbital defense satellites like paper. On the surface, families ran, soldiers scrambled, but nothing slowed the onslaught. The Korth unleashed firestorms on civilian centers, targeting not military outposts but schools, hospitals, and shelters. Their generals called it demonstration warfare, a tactic designed not to win territory, but to instill terror. Streams of fire rained down on the colony's capital. Millions perished in hours. The Korth commander broadcast a message galaxy-wide, his mandibles clattering with satisfaction. This is what awaits all who place faith in Earth's weak protection. Humanity is soft, chained by diplomacy and law. They will not strike back. They will mourn, they will beg, and then they will kneel. On every alien channel, laughter followed. The colony was ash, and the Korth moved on. Aye, mockery in the stars. The alien dominion celebrated its triumph. Korth leaders feasted in their crystalline halls, their armored hides glittering under torchlight. They mocked Earth openly, calling the Terrans a species of poets, lawyers, and dreamers, unfit for war. In council chambers across the galaxy, other empires murmured agreement. Humanity, it was said, lacked the brutality to enforce vengeance. They traded, they negotiated, they built alliances, but never unleashed retribution. The Korth broadcast images of burning cities, daring Earth to respond. They showed human children